Hello once again, all my classic dirt bike YouTubers, and thanks once more for joining me here on my vintage dirt bike video channel. Now in this featured video we're going to take a look at what is almost certainly the best open class dirt bike ever made. Of course we're talking about none other than the mighty 1981 490 Maico, a Maico 2. Now, not only has this bike been restored to pristine condition, there is also a very interesting story behind this particular bike. So please bear with me as we take a look at Walter Bickmore's Maico 490 race bike. Now originally this 490 Maico was just another ordinary open class twin shock racer until Scottish twin shock rider Walter Bickmore decided to give the bike a full renovation and the glittering bling treatment. Now this machine is one of a very limited number of nickel plated frame models. It also has some lovely personal touches like the superbly handcrafted Gerard Coppins front pipe and that DEP silencer from Derek Elwell pipes. Now the engine has been totally rebuilt with all new internals, seals and bearings, and Bill Brown at Wolfsport also converted the motor to a reed valve type configuration and then fitted a CNC machined billet ignition cover along, of course with a nice shiny new Bing carburetor to feed the fuel. Now the nickel plated frame is also fitted with a top of the range set of Riger gas shocks on the rear, which were then bolted on to that beautiful American made Thor swing arm. Now the frame was then completed with a new set of wide foot pegs, new fork stanchions and all their other associated internals. Now the brand new XL rimmed wheels were then fitted with new stainless steel heavy duty spokes and the hubs were also powder coated. A new set of Michelin Cross competition tyres were then secured to the wheels to guarantee hookup in any type of dirt bike racing conditions. Now the lovely alloy airbox is handcrafted along with a host of other billet aluminium kit, including the rear brake pedal, the rear brake plate, the front brake plate, the triple clamps, the bar clamps and a rear chain guide. And of course, to finish the bike off, a new set of plastics and graphics and brand new seat cover were fitted, along with a set of rental bars and brand new control cables. Now on the bike's first ever race outing after being rebuilt, Walter took the bike to a Scottish twin shock event at Pow Mill near Kinross, where he immediately won the 500 open class outright with 3 straight wins. Now because Walter was having such a great day out on his brand new bike, he decided at the end of the race meeting to enter his big Maico to race against the latest Japanese bikes in the modern monoshock class. And so with all the latest tricked up shiny motocross machines lined up alongside him at the start line, Walter promptly dropped the clutch on the German bike and subsequently won the race by a tidy margin, which took rapturous applause from the very appreciative spectators. Although later on, after having such a hugely successful introductory race day for his new bike, 2 days later Walter's pride and joy was then stolen from his transporter during the night, which was parked in his drive at his home. And the strangest thing of all was that Walter also had a brand new Honda CRF 450 in the back of his vehicle at the time, but the thieves took absolutely no notice of the modern bike and favoured to steal this vintage Maico instead. Now, completely gutted and having thought that he had seen the last of his pride and joy, Walter decided to do what he could to try and locate the bike. Now, even Scotland's finest plod, who were allegedly hot on the trail, said that the chances of the machine ever being found and returned were extremely slim at best, as of course these types of motocross machines were far easier to shift than their road-going counterparts. But nevertheless, all local motorcycle clubs and their relevant internet organisations were all notified of Walter's plight, and pictures were also circulated of the stolen machine, and a reward was also offered for its safe return. And the Trials and Motocross News in the UK also ran the story in their newspaper to help raise the profile of the bike and to also warn their own readers to make sure that their race bikes were safe and secure in their various lock-up buildings. Now, Walter also stated on the reward information that he was even willing to swap his Honda CRF 450 in exchange for the return of his beloved machine. Now, with all the publicity the big Maico was generating in the area, it wasn't going to be easy for the perpetrators to move this rare German motocrosser anywhere around the country. But strangely, Walter was then contacted by an anonymous caller who said that he knew the location of the bike and would supply him with a pickup address as soon as an undisclosed sum of money changed hands. But anyway, Walter wanted his bike back as soon as possible, and so a deal was soon done and the bike was then recovered, thankfully undamaged and unmarked, and both rider and machine were then reunited. Now, after the recovery of the bike, Walter told me that it was all the time, money and effort that he had put into this bike to get it to this stage that was the actual driving factor in trying to recover the bike. And Walter said to have it nicked just days after it had had its very first successful race meeting was gut-wrenching, to say the least. Now, Walter always thought that his bikes were safe and secure locked in his transporter, which was then securely parked in his driveway. So I suppose this is a lesson to all of us who endeavour each week to secure our machines in their own garage premises and think they will be totally safe. So please be aware of those dreaded sticky-fingered low-life thieves. They certainly do not discriminate over type, age, or how much effort you have ploughed into your bike projects, and they will just steal them anyway for the sheer hell of it. But of course, Walter and his bike is a very unique story, and of course 9 times out of 10 these stories never ever end well, and many of the bikes that are stolen are never seen again. So let's all make sure that we have our bikes securely locked up and safe as possible, because at the end of the day, not everyone will be as lucky as in Walter's case and have their machine returned unscathed.